Hi there folks, welcome back to Rich Reviews. So the latest of films that didn't get wide release in theaters, didn't make much money, or found their way onto the internet. The latest of these is extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile. And say that 3 times. And this is directed by Joe Berlinger, who amazingly enough did a 4-part documentary series on the same subject, that is Ted Bundy. And this is based on the book by Liz Kendall, who was indeed the girlfriend of Ted Bundy. And here's the thing, folks, I absolutely loved the 4-part documentary. I know a lot of people didn't, but I absolutely loved it because I thought it was an all-encompassing documentary. So basically we meet Elizabeth Kendall, who is played by Lily Collins, who I actually think, for the first time, I actually enjoy her. But I can't understand if she's being completely oblivious to the fact that, oh yeah, this man is a serial killer. Is she in complete denial? Maybe that was a combination of both. I think it's actually true that she drank a lot, considering the fact that she was with Bundy. To meet him, Zac Efron, I think, does a remarkably good job at betraying Ted Bundy. Now, when we saw that first trailer, we were all like, oh yes, oh, they're glamorizing, they're sexualizing Ted Bundy, oh, the wink. Maybe that trailer was sort of a misrepresentation of what the actual film was, because maybe it was because of the music that came off as lighthearted. And so this goes about the facts that, yes, Ted Bundy met Elizabeth Kendall. They had an on-off relationship together. He saw other women while they were seeing each other. She saw other men as well during their time together. But the Haley Joel Osment character is complete in our fiction. Ted Bundy is attractive, handsome, and who would want to believe that Ted Bundy is a serial killer? This focuses on the highlights of Ted Bundy as he goes about trying to make sure that no one could suspect that he is indeed a serial killer. Got arrested for blowing 2 traffic lights. And yes, he's a University of Utah law student because he left because, oh yeah, Seattle PD thought of him as a suspect in the slayings of this woman. The funny thing is, this movie plays for the fact that they don't even show the murders. They just want to think, oh yeah, maybe Ted didn't do this. But then again, at the end, it's shown him committing one of the murders. I think one of the greatest things about this film, and here's the thing, Joe Berlinger, as I mentioned earlier on, he did a 4-part documentary on the same subject, and he got to the heart of the matter about Ted Bundy. Here, I think he's lost to a considerable extent, because here's the thing, the Elizabeth Kendall character basically is a drunk half the time. I have no doubt a different filmmaker and a different writer have told the perspective of Elizabeth Kendall as she's dealing with the fact that, oh yeah, Ted Bundy is a monster. And here's the thing, folks, Joe Berlinger has gotten a great job of casting people for this film. When it comes to Zac Efron, he clearly passes for Ted Bundy, because I think also for the fact that, yes, after High School Musical, after Charlie St. Cloud, we all thought, okay, can Zac Efron get away from these roles? And I think he more or less succeeds here, because actors would not want to touch this subject with a 10-foot pole. And here, I think we're in an era in which we're obsessed with true crime podcasts, and how more and more we're more focused on the victims of those crimes than actually the person who committed them. For the title that this film comes from, that's actually said by John Malkovich, the judge in the Florida trial, and how the last 40 minutes or so is dedicated to that trial, and how, and oh look, Sheldon Cooper shows up as the lead prosecutor, and he plays it incredibly straight by showing the jury, yes, Ted Bundy might be dreamy, but he's a murderer. If Joe Berlinger does something correct here, it shows you, yes, the power of cult status here in America. Ted Bundy was probably the first, but not the last, in a long line of series of trials that would indeed be televised. This in a series of prisons that I think that's actually quite interesting. And also at the end of the film, they show you the actual footage of the trial and the interviews that Ted Bundy did while in prison. Here's the thing, folks, I don't think that is actually necessary, because I think that is detrimental to the film, because you literally spend an hour and 45 minutes recreating all those events while I actually show them. And also, I also want to say this, folks. Joe Berlinger is a great documentarian, whether it be the Paradise Lost trilogy, whether it be the Metallica film, it's another documentary they did about Whitey Bulger. He's a great documentarian. Feature filmmaker I have misgivings about, because this is a vast improvement, though, over Blair Witch 2. Yes, he did Blair Witch 2, and I have no doubt that he can do more feature films. I just wish he would get away from the true crime stuff if he was going to do that. So in the end, folks, what I'm going to say about extremely wicked, incredibly cruel and vile, I'm going to give this a Mandarin because I think there are some aspects of this film that are incredibly great. And even though I have some misgivings about what Jerome Berlinger has done with the film version, oh folks, extremely wicked, incredibly cruel, and vile. Have you seen this? What did you think? Please put everything in the comment box below. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, enrich yourself with knowledge. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray.